Okay, everyone, welcome back to Breslov Efrat here at Shira David. It's Erev Shabbos, Kodesh, Pasha Shmini, Baruch Hashem. And we're in the middle of our little Sefira project, Baruch Hashem. We're learning from the Sefer Sfaratim Lachem. And today is Hayom Shmoyne Yomim Shehem Shavua Echad V'Yom Echad La'omer. Anyone that didn't count and is listening to this still during the day, you could still say the day today. Make sure you say it that way. Hayom Shmoyne Yomim Shehem Shavua Echad V'Yom Echad La'omer. You have to count the day and the week. And that's the way it works now. All right? Now, this is the day of Chesed Shebegvuros. Now we're switching. Last week we were in the week of Chesed, right? We were in the week of Chesed. And then we were compiling the other midos to fit into Chesed. Now we're in the week of Gvura, so we're going to fit the midos into Gvura. You understand the difference?
Yeah. Can I?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But someone told me this thing yesterday.
Okay.
And she said that, those two girls died on the day of Chesed B'Chesed.
Yeah.
And that the woman passed away on Netzach B'Chesed.
Yeah.
And that
it's on the same side. It's Netzach and Chesed. It fits on,
But it was...
It's an eternal Chesed. We don't understand, again, that's not for us to understand.
Right.
But there was a big Chesed that happened. We don't understand that.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay? Again, it's nothing that we can ever understand in this lifetime.
Right.
But I am sure, I am 100% certain, when we make it to the next world and we see it, we'll understand it was a big, big chesed.
What happened here?
What happened, exactly. It doesn't make it easy for us here.
No.
And it's sad for the family and everything, of course.
Yes, of course.
And we're all in pain. But in truth, there is a chesed hidden inside there.
Inside there.
Yeah. Okay, and then not chas v'shalom to belittle it in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
Wow. And look what it brings out in the community. Look what it brings out in the community. Look at the unity that it brings out in the community. Is that amazing?
Unbelievable.
It was the other morning. It was raining. Yeah. It was windy, and yet everybody standing outside showing achdus. I mean, where do you find that? Where else would you find that? Where would you find that?
Yeah.
Just to show their love. That's all it was.
Right.
Right? That's all it was. It was to show love. I love you. I care about you. We all love each other. Amazing. Right? And really, David, was that what it was?
The cars were lying.
No. And people of all backgrounds, and everyone's just standing together. It gives Hashem such a nachas we can't even imagine. Right? It's amazing. All right, but anyway, let's learn with our program today. So today we're going to learn the midah of Chesed Shebegvura. So the week of Gvura is just in general is Gvura, right? Gvura is din, right? Is judgment, is harshness, right? That's din. Again, we always learn, why does Hashem send the Gvura? It's really a chesed. Hashem sends the Gevurah to us because it's a chesed. Like we learned in Gevurah Shebechesed, right? Gevurah Shebechesed. That we learned that when Hashem sends us the problems, only to be ma'ayir us to do tshuva. That's all. If we do tshuva and we thank Hashem, like we learned in Hoid Shebechesed, if we thank Hashem always and we say we're sorry, so then Hashem doesn't have to send us the problems. That's the whole point. He sends us these things just to wake us up. So the Rebbe says, as Rav Frisch says today, so think deeply, because again, it's chesed shebegvura. So let's talk about the chesed first. So think deeply in your mind about the maisa, the different actions of chesed and hava in our lives, in general, in Klal Yisrael, in the world at large, and so on. Like we just said, think about how Hashem, He does this chesed and He has the hava throughout the entire world, and in my family specifically, with me, and my friends, and my family, in my situation I find myself in. Ve'eich shemachavnim bahem hu la'oires abrias li'iras Hashem. Hashem does that all to wake us up to fear Him. Hashem gives us all the chesed in our life to fear Him. It's an interesting idea, right? Because usually you think when you feel when you feel the love of Hashem, why would you fear Him? But really, because the deeper love is when you have a relationship between two people, right? So that they're not afraid to do something because they want to get the other person angry. They're not afraid of getting in trouble. They're not afraid of it. It's much deeper than that. They're afraid that they're going to damage the love. There's such a love connection between that they're so connected with an ahava, so they don't want to do anything wrong to either one of them because they don't want to damage that love. You understand? It's an amazing concept, right? That's true. So that's where yira comes into ahava, right? In other words, I'm fearful that I may damage the love. You understand? It's a very, very high level. That's a very, very high level, right? You understand the difference? It's a very subtle difference. I'm not afraid I'm going to get in trouble. I'm afraid I'm going to damage the love. Beautiful idea, right? Sash, what do you think? It's an amazing thing, right? Right, a husband and wife, the guy doesn't want, let's say they're so connected, right? There's some lower level, right, where they get into a fight with such silly things, right? They'll take out the garbage, I don't want to take out the garbage, all of that stuff, right? There's no real love. When there's a real love, so then you think of what the other person wants and you do it before they even ask you for it. That's true ahava, right? You're already thinking of what the other person wants and you're already doing it. Right? You see the difference? It's an amazing idea. So he's saying over here, so that'll bring us, when you think of the chesed of Hashem, how good Hashem is to us, how good He is to us, and how much kindness and love He shows us in our lives. And so then you come to fear Hashem because you realize, wow, He's so good to me. How can I do something wrong? You see the difference? How can I do this wrong when Hashem is so good to me? He's so good, giving me all these things, and when I'm going to do this wrong now? Chesed shebegvura, right?
That's beautiful because it was really weird. At one time, I used to think that it was, how good can I stand it?
Stand what?
How good can I handle all the chesed? Am I able to handle all that chesed coming to me? But this gives you a totally different perspective, and I think it's much better.
Yeah, this chesed that Hashem is giving me so good to me. How can I be kafui toiv? How can I? And He's doing so good for me. How can I not do the right thing? So I come to fear Hashem in a way of love.
Wow,
it's an amazing concept. Okay, so he says now kedugmas. Okay, shalvas harishoyim b'tashleim schoram b'olam hazeh kidei letorda mischar olam haba. Right, so we learned this concept before, right? That Hashem, He wants to have in the world that balance. He wants to be able to be bechira in the world, right? So Hashem shows us other people, right? He always shows us other people in life that are doing so well, right? They're doing so well. They make so much money. They have so much stature. They have so much, everything is going so well for them. And then I'm thinking to myself, well, I'm not doing so well, and I'm not doing as well as that person, seemingly, right? Right? But why does Hashem do that? Again, so we can have the bechira. But why is Hashem doing that for the other?
Bechira?
Free choice.
Free choice.
We can have our free choice in this world to make the right choice. We have the free choice to make the right choice, right? So again, those people have all of that. For me to see it, but I can still say, I understand, but I'm with you, Hashem. Those people are not. And my connection I have with you, Hashem, is more precious to me than all of that other materialism. Because that's what's materialism. It's here today, gone tomorrow. Right? So that's why he's doing that. K'meisha darshu Chazal al pasuk mashlim l'soinav el ponav lavidoy. Right? You know, as Hashem, he pays back those that don't have that relationship with him, in order to push them away. They should be lost. V'zeh yovel liyiras Hashem yisbarach bechlal b'frat. Yira ba'atzma. You'll have yira by itself. Right, you'll have yira by itself. Shema gam hu mikabel chelkai hatoy ba'olam hazeh k'may l'tordai chas shalom. In other words, when I'll think to myself now, listen, this is very deep. Wait a second, Hashem. Based on my actions and what you're giving me in this world, are you paying me back for my good in this world so I won't have it in the next world? That's a very deep thing, right? There was all this goodness that I have in my life. Did I really earn this? Or are you giving me this now because
Pay me off.
That's not the way. No, but it's, just to understand it. Don't take the chesed for granted. That's what we say. Don't take it for granted. It's a matnas chinam, right? You always ask Hashem, please give it to me for free. Free. Don't give it to me from my account. I did all of these things, so now you're giving me that. I did this, so many things that I'm giving. No. Hashem, please give it to me for free.
In order that I can just function and do
Exactly. Sharei yadeyahu shabayir yisbarach meitiv ima yosem meharoylai. Because I realize that Hashem is bestowing me with so much more than I'm really worthy to have. Wow. V'nimtza sheba liyiras Hashem yisbarach machmas. Right?
Well, is it possible you could believe that he's given it to you because you are worthy?
No, that's not a good way to look at it. No, that's not a good.
Why would you want to think you're not worthy of it if he's given it to you?
To get you closer to Hashem.
You'll appreciate the gift more.
Exactly. Listen, Mordechai. You have people that work for you, right? You have people that work for you, right? So at the end of the week or the month or bi-weekly, however you pay them, right? So they did their work. They're expecting to get paid, correct? They're expecting to get paid. But when you give them a bonus, right? If you ever give them a bonus, that's a whole different thing, right? That's totally different, right?
Yeah.
They're expecting on their check X, and you give them Y, right? You give them there's a little bit, there's something extra in there. That's a whole different thing, right? So if you're thinking that everything Hashem gives me, He owes it to me, that's my pay. That's not.
I'm not trying to say it's my pay.
Well, what are you trying to say?
Well,
you
like,
said you said you earned it.
Well, no, not earned it.
Yeah. So what did you say?
What does it mean to be worthy? I guess maybe it's a definition. I'm thinking of it differently, because I'm not supposed to. Am I supposed to feel unworthy? Am I supposed to feel depressed?
No, never. No. This is supposed to bring you closer to Hashem. Anything you feel is supposed to bring you closer to Hashem. Never bring you to depression. If it's bringing you to depression, it's from the other side. That's no good. That's no good. It's only supposed to lift you up. All these things we're learning is supposed to lift us closer to Hashem. Never chashon to bring us to the other side. So here we go. We're saying, so now, think good at all the goodness that we have in our life. And then I say to myself, wow, Hashem, I realize how good you are to me. I'm not worthy of these things. Did I really do such good things in my? Did I really do that? That I'm worthy of all of this chesed that you gave to me? Really? Am I worthy of it? Why me? Right?
Yeah.
I mean, look at we could say to ourselves, right? Just us sitting in this room, how Hashem picked us up from wherever we were and brought us here to Eretz Yisrael. That we get to live here in one of the most beautiful places of Eretz Yisrael, I believe. Right? One of the most beautiful places of the whole Eretz Yisrael. The whole Eretz Yisrael is beautiful. Right? But everyone finds another place. But we're here. Yeah. Why me? Why you? Why? How about all those other people that you left in Houston? Huh?
Yeah, I'm sad for them.
No,
No?
no. Don't be sad. Daven for them.
Daven for them.
Daven for them. That they can also come over here.
They can.
Daven for them. They don't know.
But it's like,
They don't know. They don't understand it, right? They don't understand it. So you daven for them. But thank Hashem that He chose you to be here. Wow. Is that something that you earned? Did you spend years praying to Hashem, begging Hashem that you can come to Israel? Did you spend wakeless nights praying to God that you should be able to come to Israel? So how did you earn it? It's for free. Hashem brought you here.
the part I was thinking about.
I'm just giving you a basic chesed that's not basic at all.
Right.
It's fundamental. Right? So again, when you realize that, so look what he says here. From your seichel, from your intellect, you can come to fear Hashem using your intellect, via the yosav and your ideas and like we said, the things of das, the things that you compile. Okay, b'midas chesed v'toiva yizbarach. So it's a very, very important midah that we're learning here today to learn to connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu in such a deep way. Boker tov. You're joining our class? Oh, Baruch Hashem. What's your name?
Yaakov.
Yaakov, welcome, Yaakov. Oh, okay, Baruch Hashem. Oh, we have a new member on our class, Baruch Hashem. Okay.
Temporary.
What?
Temporary. Yerushalayim.
Okay, good. Well, our class is always we put it online, so you can always be part of our class, and you're always welcome. Okay, now we're saying now we're going to learn on the Aver. So we're learning today about today is the 8th day of the Sefira. So that's the Sefira today is the Sefira of Chesed Shebegvura. So we're just learning a little bit about Chesed Shebegvura now, where it pertains to the Aver, where it pertains to our limbs. What do we use? What limb do we use to do this? So he says, Yishtamesh b'yad small. So do something, use your left hand, because again, it's the week of Gvura, right? V'nimtza shehishlim es Aver ha'gvura idei pulas ha'chesed. So that's one of the things in Breslov that we do is when we give tzedakah, we use both hands for this idea. But when you give tzedakah, you use your right hand. You're supposed to, every time you do a mitzvah, you do it with the right hand. Do you agree, Yaakov? Right? When you do a mitzvah, you always do the right hand, correct? But you could take the left hand and make the left hand part of it also. It maybe doesn't want to be part of it, but you force it to be part of it to give the tzedakah, so you give it from both sides, from the chesed and the gvura, and that's how you create the tferes, right? Because you give it together, huh? Right? You do it with two hands. You've seen that, right?
I've seen you do that, and I've always wondered about it.
Oh, me? Okay.
No, but when you go to put money in the pushki, I've seen you do it that way.
Yeah, what? Well, that's what. This is the reason why we do it. This is the reason why. Okay, so use the midah of gvura. Use the gvura in the action of chesed. Force the gvura, which doesn't want to do chesed, but force it to do chesed. Okay. And now we said over here, Yishtadal lechavim b'tfilas shmai nesrei birchas slach lanu b'tfilas mincha shetikna yitzchak. So last week we were learning the midah of chesed, which is Avram Avinu is chesed, right? And then we said all of the tefillas, it was always with Shacrus, because Avram Avinu was Misak, and he established the morning prayer, right? So that's why now this week is the week of Gvura. That's Yitzchak Avinu, right? Yitzchak, Isaac, he was the one that established the afternoon prayer. And therefore, so now this week is connected to Yitzchak. So therefore, have in mind, when you say, Slach lanu Avinu ki chatanu, mechal lanu mekeni ki fashanu, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu always forgives us, that Hashem is forgiving us. That's a great thing right there. That's unbelievable. That Hashem, we make a mistake and Hashem forgives us. What a chesed that is from Hashem. That there's such a thing as forgiveness in the world. Tshuva. That Hashem forgives us. Unbelievable. Okay, then he says now, and how can you be Kinyan, not a Kinyan Torah today? So we said there are 48 Kinyanim of Torah, right? Based on Pirkei Avos It's in Mishnah 6, and it's in 6:6, chapter 6, Mishnah 6. If you want to see the 48 kinyanim of Torah, that's where you can find it. So today's is connected to Simcha. Today is Simcha. You can be kind of Torah with Simcha. That makes a lot of sense, right? Right? If you have Simcha in your life, right? So Simcha brings a person to do all the good things. Simcha brings a person to want to do good because he's connecting always to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And that's what we're trying to always do. So Kinyan Torah today is Simcha. Okay? Any questions or comments on this? Anyone have any questions on this? No? Okay, good. So let's continue. Let's continue now in Likutey Halachos. Okay, our regular learning, Baruch Hashem, with Siyata Deshmaya. We're in Likutey Halachos, Hilchos Tefilin, Halacha Beis, and today we're going to do Tes, 9. Okay? Tes. So we're learning Hilchos Tefilin now. So the Rebbe says today, do you have the place? Everyone have the place? Yeah. Okay, good. Okay, every day we have 3 tefillas, right? We start out with Mariv, and then with Shacrus and Mincha, right? Every day 3 tefillas, correct? 3 prayers every day. Dainu, Shacrus, Mincha, and Arvis. And why do we have 3? Kineged Shleisha Nekudas. It's connected to the 3 Nekudas. And what was the 3 Nekudas? We said the Nekuda of Tzaddik is 1. The Nekuda of the Chaver, to have the Chaverim. We said that every day a person is supposed to have a connection and have a conversation with the Tzaddikim. How do you have a conversation today with the Tzaddikim? You can also learn the teachings of the Tzaddikim, right? You take out a Gemara and you're learning a Mishnah. And you see what Rabbi Akiva says. You see what you see Rabbi Meir said. Oh, you see, you're learning the words of the tzaddikim, and you're speaking out the words. So it's almost like they're having a conversation with you. You can consider that as somewhat a level of a conversation. Nekudas hachaver, and then we said that we're supposed to have everyday heartfelt conversations with our friends. Right? It's very, very important to have a good conversation because each day everybody has that Nekuda Kadosha that comes into them, that special feeling that they get in that morning. And mine is different than yours. When I have a conversation with you, I can benefit from you, you can benefit from me. And that's why that's very important. And Nekuda's Atzmai and the Nekuda by myself, that's the third point, which is what? When I speak to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when I have my Yizbainidus, when I speak to HaKadosh Baruch Hu between me, Beinai Vein Kainai, right? Speaking between myself and Hashem. So again, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is so happy that I'm speaking to Him. So of course Hashem sends me down and so on. So that's the 3 Nekudas, 3 Tfilas. Ki HaNekudas me'irin ayidei bechinas Tfila, because the Nekuda is illuminated. That Nekuda shines brighter, that we get it ourselves every day, shines brighter through the Tefillah. Why Tefillah? Because it's Dibur. When I daven, I use my mouth, I speak. Malchus Peh, we learned that, right? Malchus Peh, I use my mouth. So when I say words, those words can get filled with HaKadosh Baruch Hu's light. Right? We said that yesterday, right? So it is when I daven and I say the words, talk to Hashem, using my own words, those words are kalim. Words are kalim. A fascinating idea, right? That a word is a kli, is a vessel. A word is a vessel. You say a word of Torah, a word to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you say a word, you talk to someone, you call someone up, you ask them how they're doing, you bevakeh chaylim, whatever mitzvah you're doing, and you're using your words, that's all creating the vessels to fill with light from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, so that the Nekuda will shine brighter. Why? Because you'll get more light. So your Nekuda now will shine brighter through the Dibur. Bechinas Piyah Daber Chochmais, like we keep learning about this Piyah Daber, right? Piyah Daber Chochmais, that the mouth will speak the Chochmah, that we said that, again, when the person gets up in the morning and he connects himself, using the Maida Ani, the first thing, and then he uses and he connects himself and he feels that Nekuda, and he talks to the Rabbeinu Shalom, by him talking to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and recognizing that Hashem is the one that's going to run his entire day. He feels that closeness with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Via feeling that closeness with Hashem, it fills his mind. It fills his mind with Chachmas Ilah. That we said there's a Chachma Ilah, Chachma Tata. We have the upper wisdom and the lower wisdom. The upper wisdom is understanding that it's all Hashem, Hashgacha Pratis in the world. That's upper wisdom. I realize that. I fill my mind with that, right? And then when I fill my mind with that, with that idea, the bina in my mind, the bina, the other side of my mind, which was the left side, bina processes it. Like, how does that pertain to me? What can I do with it? And then it creates das, right? And then that's how you get the zer anpin. We said the das breaks into chesed and gevura, and you get the lower 7 spheres, right? Chesed, gevura, tveres, netzach, chod, yesod, malchus. Malchus is the peh. So it manifests itself by me speaking. I understand what was in my mind. You understand, right? In other words, what you fill your mind with is pretty much what the person's going to say. If he fills his mind with more Torah, more avoda, so then this person will speak more Torah and avoda. Kishleish and nekuda is saying bechinas nekuda ilah. The 3 nekudas is the idea of the nekuda ilah, the upper nekuda, the upper point, the upper wisdom, and nekuda tata, which is, and we said that the upper one is connected to the tzaddik, and that's the tefillin shel rosh, right? The tefillin shel rosh, we said it's connected to the tzaddik. That's why we wear it open, right? We had the tefillin shel yad, that we said we cover it up because that's our conversation with Hashem. That's private, right? And tefillin shel rosh, we wear it out open, right? We wear it open. Everyone sees the tefillin shel rosh, right? Tefillin shel yad, you cover it up. Why? Because that's the tzaddik. When I have my conversation with the tzaddik, and the tzaddikim is speaking to us, that's public information. That's for everybody. That's for everybody to know. That's what it's tefillin shel rosh, to be the tzaddik is open. But we said that the tefillin shel yad is connected to myself and my heart, my conversation I have with Hashem. That's private. That's why I cover it up. Just to remember that idea. Okay. Now the nekuda tata, which is the nekuda tachtoina. Right, that's the lower. That's the lower nekuda, and that's again, like we said, that's with the tefillin shel yad, the nekuda emtsois, and then we have the nekuda in the middle. That's the daled that we have on the tefillin, right? We have the daled. We have on the head tefillin. You have the shin, right, and then you have the daled on there, and you have the yud on the yad, and that makes the shame of Shem Shatkai. Shatkai, when you wear your tefillin, did you know that, Yaakov? When you wear your tefillin, you have the same Shatkai. On the rosh, you have a shin. In the back of your head, when you put on your tefillin, you have a daled, right? The knot in the back is a daled, and then on your yad, on the hand, on the housing, there's a little yud. So if you take shin, daled, yud, that makes the same Shatkai. You realize that? It's nice to hear that, right? You're doing it every day, right? Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem. So that's how you have now. Every day you have this idea. You have the nekuda ilah, nekuda taton. You have the nekuda emtsoi, right? So we said the nekuda ilah, the upper that's connected to the tzaddik. The lower one is connected to myself, right? And then we said that then we have the one that's emtsoi, the one that's in the middle, which we said is the what was it with the memutza? We said is the interface. It connects the upper to the lower one. That's the dalet. So let's see what the Rebbe says. Even the kudam sois, which is the one that's the chaver. When I have my conversation with my friend, right? Hamshochais ha'oram letachtoina. It draws the upper to the lower. In other words, that's the interface that takes the light from up on high and brings it down to me over here. Again, why? Because again, when I have my conversation with my friend, right? So I can help process things by hearing the words that my friend offers to me, and I offer to my friend. So he can help me process all that information in me to bring the upper light into me, to the lower light. So the chaver is the emsa. That's why it's so important. It's integral to have the conversation on a daily basis with a good close chaver, because by doing that, you can actually bring the upper light into yourself through that conversation. And that's what the dalet is on the tefillin. Vizel b'chinas Shacrus, Mincha, and Arvis. So that's the three tefillas that we have every day. Shacrus, Mincha, and Arvis. So the 3 tefillas that we have every day, the 3 prayers that we have every day, are connected to the 3 aspects of the tefillin. Most people would not know that. Right? So we said that the tefillin shel rosh is the Shacrus, right? Mincha is the aspect of the emtsoi, that's like in the middle of the day, and Arvis is at night, right? Now there's one amazing thing now, if you think about it. Both in the morning and at night, what do we have in common with Shachrus, and what do we have in common with Arvis? Good morning, Reuven. Yeah, what do we have in common? What?
Shema.
We say Shema. Excellent. With Mincha, we don't have Shema. Mincha, there's no Shema, right? That's interesting, right?
Yeah.
Because that's, again, we're going to see in a second, the connection to the Tefilin Shel Rosh, and the Tefilin Shel Yad. Both in the Tefilin Shel Rosh, you have Parshas, the Parsha of Kriya Shema. In the Tefilin Shel Yad, you have the Parsha of Kriya Shema. But on the Dalit, there's no Parsha. There's no Parsha. So Mincha doesn't have the Parsha in it, and that's why you don't have Kriya Shema in there. Fascinating, right? Sasha, you ever think of that? Why Mincha don't you say Kriya Shema?
Because in the Dalit, there's
no Parsha. See that? Interesting idea. Ki Shacrus Arvis Hein Bechinas Nekuda El Yoine V'Tachta. Right? Shacrus, like we just said now, is the upper Chachma, the upper light, and Arvis is the lower one. Right? We understand that, right? Because in the morning everything is bright, at nighttime everything is darker already. So we understand that's the lower realm. Ki Hein Bechinas Yoim V'Laila. You have morning and at night, right? So morning is the time of Shachrus. Arvis, the Tfilas Arvis, when we daven Mariv, that's the time it's dark outside, so that's connected to the lower one. And that's why, so now we said now Shachrus is the Tfilah Shel Rosh. The Tefilin Shel Rosh is Shachrus, because again it's bright, it's open, it's shown, I see it, it's bright, it's open. Where the Tefilin Shel Yad, I cover it, right? You know that, right, Ruben? Right? You see, most people cover their Tefilin Shel Yad. If you can't cover the whole thing in your whole arm, so at least cover the bias. You cover when you wear your Tefilin Shel Yad, the Tefilin Shel Yad. If your shirt doesn't want to go all down your whole sleeve, whatever it is, it won't go. So then you can at least try to cover up the bias for Chol HaPachas. At least a very little bit. You do that. You cover up the bias. Okay. If you have a shirt that won't cover the whole tefillin.
I didn't realize when you said to cover the yad that you meant the whole thing.
Boker Baruch Hashem. Okay. Tefillin Shel Rosh. So that's the Tefillin Shel Rosh. Wow. We have Simcha in the room here. See that? He comes to bring Simcha with us. Baruch Hashem. Tefillin Shel Rosh. Okay, Tefillin Shel Yad. Okay, and the Tefillin Shel Yad. Kamuva. O Mincha hu bechinas nekuda ha'em sois. The Dalid of Mincha, right? We said Mincha is the Dalid on the Tefillin, the Dalid. That's the Em Soy. That's the middle one. So in there, Hamshachas Ara mi'ilo l'tata. That's only bringing the upper light to the lower light. That's connecting the morning to the evening. That's connecting the day with the night. You understand? It's only the memutza. It's the thing that's in the center, connecting, making that connection. Kamu b'tfilas mincha, as we understand in the idea, the whole idea of mincha. Mincha is just connecting the morning to the evening. It's bringing, and that's why when they brought the carbon tamid, the tamid shel shachar, they brought the carbon atamid. We brought it in the morning. Right, every morning they brought in the Beis Hamikdash, the Mishkan, the Beis Hamikdash. This week's parsha, right, Shmini, right? They inaugurated the Mishkan, right? This week, Aharon Kohen went and he inaugurated the Mishkan, started the carbon atamid. That's when it started. So what did the carbon atamid in the morning do? Any averis that we did, any things that we did wrong at nighttime, when the Kohen brought the carbon atamid in the morning, he would forgive us for anything that we have done, what we did in the evening, anything that we did the past night, and then we would bring the carbon tamid shel bein arbayim in the afternoon, right? We had the one that was in the afternoon, mincha time in the afternoon, right? And that would forgive us for anything that we did wrong during the day, any mistakes that we did inadvertently during the day. That would forgive us for those for that, and that's what the two karbanos. But so you see that the morning and the afternoon were connected, and it was all one package because the nighttime The one in the afternoon forgave me for everything from the day. The one in the morning forgave me everything from the night. Yeah, you want to say something? Go ahead.
Do you have to ask Mechila for him to forgive you, or just...
No, that was just an aspect of carbon atomic.
No, but does it work if you don't ask Mechila?
You do tshuva, of course.
But you have to...
Yeah, of course. No. But no. In general, the carbon atomic forgave Klal Yisrael in general for their wrongdoing.
Oh, okay.
It was a general, because that was, again, it was a carbon that was paid for by the community.
Okay.
Everyone paid part. That was part of the communal funds that everyone gave money for the carbon atomic that they used for the animal, right? When they brought that carbon atomic, right? So everyone was able to get when the Kohen brought that carbon, they was able to get his forgiveness. Okay. All right, but that's a totally. I just brought that in, but that's not part of our lesson over here. Shemincha hi bechinas nikud hapatach. Mincha is like the patach. So we learned before about the malupim, right? We said that's a vav with a dot, and now we're learning about the patach. The patach is the ah.
Oh.
The line, yeah. That's one thing I never understood in the Ifrit. There's no differentiation between the kametz and the patach, right? I learned as a kid in school, kametz is oh, and patach is ah, right? Over here, everything is ah.
Oh, okay.
Ah, yeah, ah. All right, okay. Right, Sasha, right? Right, there's a difference. There's a baruch or baruch. Right, Baruch or Baruch, right? So yeah, well, it's good. It works out good. Today's the patach, so it's anyway. It's good. Okay. Baruch Hashem. Shu'em soy bein shnei nekudos. That's the one that's in the middle between the nekudos. What's the two nekudos? This is amazing. Take an aleph, right? Use an aleph. The aleph will help us understand this whole lesson. Let's understand aleph. An aleph is a line. And there's one facing upward and a foot facing downward, right?
Yeah.
Right. So the patach is the one that's in the middle. The line. So you have the chokhmah ilah. So the upper one is Shacrus of the aleph, which is the Tefilin shel rosh. The lower part of the aleph is the Tefilin shel yad. The vav that's in the middle, which is the patach, which we said that's the connector. It connects the upper with the lower. So you see it from the letter aleph. How do you like that? Fascinating. From the letter aleph. You see an aleph now, you can remember your tefillin. Unbelievable. And you can remember the 3 tefillas of the day, right? Shachrus, Mincha, and Arvis. All right? Okay, the aleph. Okay, kanal. Okay, fine. And therefore, there's no kriya shema. There's no kriya shema when we say mincha, right? In mincha, there's no kriya shema. You don't say Shema Yisrael when you daven mincha, right? There's no shema.
Right.
But you do have shema in Shachrus and you do have shema in Arvis, right? In both. Ki ikar nekudos. Because the main nekudos are really 2, which is what? Shachrus and Arvis. Tefilin shel rosh, Tefilin shel yad. All right? Ilah v'tata, upper and lower. Shein bechinas Tefilin shel rosh, Tefilin shel yad. V'al kein yesh bohem, and therefore you have in the tefillah, in the actual prayer that you say, because it's connected to the upper one, you have parshas in the box. On the upper, on the rosh, on the head housing, you have the parshas. You have parshas on the yad. You have the parshas inside the yad. But again, in the middle, in the dalid, that you wear, you have the ritzur, right? They have on the head, right? You put it on, and then you have it tied in the back with a dalid. So that dalid has no parshas in it. There's no parsha in there. That's just it's a piece of leather, right? It's a piece of leather in the shape of a dollar, right? So therefore, that's connected to mincha. Therefore, you don't have any parsha inside there. Okay, bechinas. Okay, v'zeh bechinas shachris arvis she'ein bechinas nekuda ilah v'tata. Like we said, shachris is the nekuda ilah. and Arvis is the Nekuda Tata, the lower realm, the upper realm. Balkein Yesh Bahem Kriya Shema, and therefore you have Kriya Shema in both of those tefillas. Bechinas Aval B'Mincha, Bechinas HaMoichin, which is all Moichin, right? You have the Moich Ilah, the mind. You have the upper wisdom, like we said. We have the Chochma Ilah and the Chochma Tata. That's Moichin, okay? Aval b'mincha rak bechinas hamshachas ha'ara. But mincha, when it comes, I'm just bringing the light. I'm trying to draw at mincha the light from upper to me down here. That's mincha. Like we said, the aleph has a little thing that goes up. That's the upper one. Mincha is the vav that's connecting the upper to the lower. Shezeh bechinas kesher shel tefilin. That's the idea of the knot on the tefillin. Chu bechinas nekuda ha'emsoi she'ein sham parshis. Like we said, that there's no parsha in that dalet. In the actual dalet, which we said that tefillin there's three aspects of tefillin. We learned that yesterday. Three aspects. One is the tefillin shel rosh. Tefillin shel rosh has on it the bias, which has the parshas inside it, and then it has the ritzua that goes around that makes the knot. The dalet, that's the second aspect. The tefillin shel yad is the third aspect. Okay, and then you have the emsoi she'ein ba'asham parshas. There are no parshas. Al kain ein b'mincha kriya shema kenal linyan kesher shel tefillin. And therefore, now you see it, and now you can remember this Torah so nicely. Every time you want to remember it, so you can remember this every time you see an aleph. You can remember the idea of Chochma Ilah, Chochma Tata, the upper wisdom, the lower wisdom. You see the line in the middle of the aleph that's connecting the upper with the lower. That line connects the upper with the lower. When you have your tefillin, you see your tefillin, and you're taking it out, and you see the bias. When you see the rosh, it reminds you of Shacrus, right? You see the knot in the back, it reminds you of Mincha, the dalet. The dalet reminds you of Mincha because that's again the emtsoi. That's the one that's bringing the upper to the lower one. And then we have the bias that's connected to Arvis. And again, that's why we have Kriya Shema in both Shacrus and Arvis, because in the Tefillin they have the parsha of Kriya Shema both in the rosh and in the yad. Okay, any questions on that so far? What? Clear? Wow, this is amazing. You guys are great today. This is great. Wow. Ki mincha hi bechinas kesher shel tefillin shehi bechinas leah. Wow, look at this now. Mincha is an aspect of leah. How leah? Why leah? Why leah? You ever think of that?
No.
Okay, you'll see in a minute. Shehi bechinas dinim. Leah is the bechin of din. Leah is from the side of din. Leah is from that side. And that's the idea of din is mincha. Like we were learning today, today's day in the Sefira, like we learned before, is the day of Chesed Shebegvura, right? Chesed Shebegvura. So when you're davening today, you have in mind at Mincha time, because Mincha is the time of Gvura. Mincha is the time of Gvura. Okay? Ki Yitzchak tikkun tfilas Mincha. Right? We know that, right? The Rebbe says today, Yitzchak Avinu was Mesakin. He established. Yitzchak, Isaac, he established the afternoon prayer. That was established by Isaac. If you want to see that that's in Brachos, you can see that in Brachos on Daf Chav Vav, Amid Beis, you can find that there. Yitzchak hi bechinas dinim. Yitzchak, the whole idea of Yitzchak is judgment, is sternness. Yitzchak Avinu. Yitzchak is Pachad Yitzchak. Like we say, Pachad Yitzchak, right? The fear. Yitzchak is fear. Yitzchak is judgment. Yitzchak is sternness. Bechinas. Vatekehena einav mirois. It said by Yitzchak Avinu that his eyes were weakened, right? His eyes were weakened. Do you remember where his eyes got weakened? Yitzchak Avinu's eyes got weakened?
When he was giving the blessing to Yaakov.
No, Yitzchak Avinu's eyes got weakened when he was on the Mizbeach. When Avram Avinu put him by the Akedah, right? So Avram Avinu put him on the Mizbeach. He tied him on the Mizbeach. The Malachim were crying up in Shemayim. And the tears went down, and they weakened his eyesight. That's what the Medrash says. Right? You heard that right before, right? That's a famous thing. So Yitzchak Avinu's eyes got dimmed. They were dimmed. Let's use that word, okay? Okay. Shezeh bechinas Leah, bechinas ve'enei Leah rakos. Oh, look at that. Leah's eyes were also rakos. What's a good word to translate that, Sasha? What would you like to say? They were weak. Rock, right? They were weak also. Why? Do you know why Leah's eyes were weak? She had a weakening in her eyesight because she was always crying. Do you know why she was crying? Because Leah was supposed to be married to Esav. Leah was really supposed to be married to Esav, and she davened to Hashem so much. Like we said before, we live in Eretz Yisrael. Did we daven? Did we cry it to come to Eretz Yisrael? There's a chesed chinam that we're here. Leah was supposed to be married to Esav. She cried day and night for years and years. Cried day and night for years. She shouldn't have to be with Esav. Amazing. So here you see it that Leah is connected to Yitzchak because they both had some kind of a weakening of their eyesight. Leah and Yitzchak, both Leah and Yitzchak had the common denominator between the two of them. They had a weakening of their eyesight. But where did it come from? It came from a Ma'aseh Mitzvah. Right? Yitzchak Avinu was on the Mizbeach. Right? He was giving his life over to Hashem. Right? What's more fearful than that? Right? Right? And Leah was fearful that she would be married to Esav. Unbelievable.
So is there a hidden thing in here? Because, Moshe wanted to come to the land of Israel.
Yeah.
And he prayed for it. And
Yeah.
God said, if you pray one more time, I'm going to have to let you in. And
No, I'm going to have to destroy the world, not let you in.
right, destroy the world. Right. And Leah, did she, with her crying, change her...
Yeah, because she was wound up being married to Yaakov, not to Esav.
Right. So we can
Of
pray
course.
so hard for something.
Yes.
We can change Hashem's...
Yes. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Geizer Gezeiros, and the Tzaddik is coming is Mevatalit. HaKadosh Baruch Hu makes a Gezer. HaKadosh Baruch Hu makes a certain decree. A Tzaddik can come along with his prayer, and he can overturn it. Overturn it. Look what happened in the Nesa Purim. What happened with the Nesa Purim? Mordechai and Esther overturned Hashem's decree.
What was Hashem's decree at that time?
We were all supposed to be destroyed. That was signed. B'tabas HaMelech. It didn't say B'tabas HaMelech HaChashverosh. Right? It was Nechtam B'tabas HaMelech, it says in the Megillah. B'tabas HaMelech. Anytime, Chazal tell us, anytime in the Megillah it says HaMelech, Stam, without Achashverosh, that's Hashem. But we were able to be with our Achdus, Leich Kenoises Kol HaYudim. We learned a lot about that, right? Bring all Jews together. Leich Kenoises Kol HaYehudim. Go and join all the Jews together. Then through that we can overturn Hashem's decree. So the decree was Leah, yes, was supposed to be married to Esau. That was the decree. But through her prayer, her heartfelt prayer to Hashem, believing that Hashem will listen to her prayer. That's an important thing. You see how she was able to turn that around, and she wound up being married to the tzaddik Yaakov Avinu, not to the Rosh Esau.
So sorry, that's opinion that maybe she should have been married to Leah because
That's another story. good point. That's a good point. That's a good point. That's a very no. He said that really maybe if she would have married, if she was married to Esau, she would have changed him.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but again, that was maybe a gamble she didn't want to take.
it wasn't for her to decide.
It was for her to decide. You see, it was because she decided not to be married to Asa by davening to Hashem.
But that could have saved the world at that point. If she'd married Asa, we wouldn't be sitting here today. We'd be like in Beth Amikdash.
Okay, again. Hashem runs the world, and again, if that wasn't, let's think about it. If Hashem really wanted her to be married to Esav, Hashem would not have given her the idea that she should daven, right? It's like the same thing. We have Bechira, free choice, but do we really have free choice? Really Hashem, we said the other day, we were talking about the whole idea of Pesach, right? We just finished Pesach, right? So the whole idea of Pesach was very different than all the other holidays in the world, right? In the world, every country right? Russia and then France and America and Germany and England. They have their days of independence. They have their days of holiday, right? Right? Why do they have? Because that thing happened in the country at that time. So it was something good. So they remember that. But what's the difference between our holiday Pesach and all the other holidays? The Zohar says that HaKadosh Baruch was mistakel by Raisa. HaKadosh Baruch looked in the Torah, and he created the world. He looked in the Torah and he created the world. What does that mean? Hashem looked into the Torah. He saw there's an idea of Geula. There's such an idea of Geula that we're going to come out. That Klal Yisrael is going to come out of a nation that's going to be Mitzrayim. That's going to be Meitzar, constricted. We're going to feel constricted. Meitzar, constricted. We're going to feel constricted, right? We were slaves. We had a slave mentality, right? But Hashem took us out of that. But so it says that really Hashem made everything in the world to happen, that we should wind up going down to Mitzrayim so that we can go out of Mitzrayim. So it wasn't that just we're commemorating an event that took place way back then. No, the whole Marecha of the world, everything was guided. All the things happen in the world to bring us, to lead us to be Mitzrayim. So that way we can come out of Mitzrayim. Fascinating idea, which is so different than any other nation. Any other nation, this thing happened to happen on this day. So what happened about this thing? We're happy about this thing. No, here the whole world was created in order to bring us down to Mitzrayim. So all of the things took place. Adam and Chava, they had their problem, right? And then we had the Dara Mabel and the Dara Floga, right? And we had all of the things that happened. And Yosef had all of that stuff. All of those things with Yosef and his brothers, right? And he had to go be sold down to a slave to Mitzrayim. All these things. The plan was so we can get out of Mitzrayim. All that. But again, when you look at the picture, Hashem does it in such an amazing way that you look at it, this is the way it happened. But when you realize that Hashem guided all of these things to make this happen, all of those things transpired for this. Every action that took place before was only for this action. It's a whole different way to look at it. Yeah.
So you're saying that Hashem doesn't guide the Goyim?
Of course he guided the Goyim.
So what's the difference?
No, but again, those things just happened to take place.
Yeah.
But everything that took place was for this.
Oh, okay.
Everything only took place to bring us to this point. Where those countries, all the other countries, whatever happened on that day, happened on that day. Mm-hmm. So they're commemorating that.
Okay.
It's not that everything happened to bring them to that day.
Uh-huh.
They're just happy that day happened, and that's it. They're not connecting it back to the beginning creation of the world.
Oh, that's the difference. That they don't appreciate why it happened.
Of course not. They don't appreciate. Of course they don't appreciate because they realize it's only about them. We realize it's all about Hashem.
Yeah.
We realize it's all about Hashem. Okay, so now let's see if we could hopefully we can finish this now. Ki tkufa de dina the mincha, right? The whole idea of mincha is the takva de dina. That's the strictness of din, right? Hu bechinas achizas Esav. That's the idea of Esav. Esav is also din. Esav is also he uses his might to make a lot of problems in the world, right? Esav, right? And that's the whole idea is mincha. Bechinas vayishlach leEsav mincha. Yaakov Avinu sent to Esav a mincha. It says that he sent Esav a mincha. Isn't that interesting? He uses that idea of Yaakov is sending to Esav a mincha. Why does he use mincha, not matana, truma? Why does he use the word mincha? Why? Look at this. K'maycha Kosav Likutey Torah that Yaakov Avinu sent the chelik. He sent the chelik of Gvura. You hear this? He sent the chelik of Gvura to Esav. In other words, you know, you hear the expression, you have to fight fire with fire? That's where it came from. This is where it came from. Fight fire with fire. Esav is the fire of Gvura. Yaakov, is the Gvura of impurity. That's Esav, the Gvura of impurity. Yaakov Avinu takes from his father Mincha, which is from the side of purity, which is the fire of din, of purity. And he sends to Esav the Mincha, the Gvura, the purity, to put out the fire of the impurity. You follow that? It's a fascinating why Yaakov Avinu sent a mincha. Why did he say that? Why was Yaakov Avinu sending him a mincha? Why a mincha, specifically a mincha? The Torah could use all words. Why does the Torah use the word that Yaakov sent a mincha? Fascinating idea. Okay, now Leah Leah's coming in. She's connected from that din of Esav. Leah Imenu, the holy Leah. She's connected. She was really connected. She was really connected to the din of Esav. She was connected. Kamei Shamar Beiseinuzal in Bereshis Rabbah. Shaleah Haisa Ruuya LeEsav Ela Yadei Bechiyasa Nitzala Mimenu. She was really supposed to be married to him, but it was because of her crying she was saved. Nitzala. The Medrash Rabbah says that she was saved. So that's to answer your question. The Medrash Rabbah is saying that Leah Imenu was davening and crying to Hashem to save her. So obviously, if she would have been with Esav, things may not have worked out so well. Who knows? Yes?
Did she do any special chesed to warrant the change of the decree?
She prayed.
She prayed and cried.
A lot of people pray and cry and Hashem doesn't answer.
No, Hashem answers. No. Hashem answers every prayer.
Yeah.
It's just not the way, not always at the time you want and how, but every single prayer that a Jew makes.
No special chesed she did to warrant it?
There's no special chesed that she did.
You know, sometimes a small act can change the whole.
Of course, no, but here she just was praying to Hashem. That wasn't a major
wasn't
thing.
Anything special she did.
The Medrash doesn't say that. The Medrash says that she prayed to Hashem and she was crying.
Uh-huh.
She was crying. She was in a very emotional tefillah. It was always a very, very emotional tefillah. It wasn't just words. It was emotional. When you bring a person cries, think about it. Where does tears come from? Comes from emotion, right? So when she was praying with a tremendous amount of emotion.
And intention.
Motion.
Intention,
yeah. She had the right intention. She had the right emotions. Kavanas. And of course, when she was praying.
And I think that's the difference when something's answered and when it's not. That's just my personal...
Yeah, of course. The more you put in. It's like we learned about yesterday with Shabbos, right? The more you put in to prepare for Shabbos is the more you'll feel the light of Shabbos, right? The more you pray and you put more kavanah into it, of course, there's more value to that tefillah, right? That we said that the intention of the kavanah is the wings, is the shtei gatfin, the two wings that you need for a tefillah, right? We learned about that, remember? Tefillah needs two wings. It needs two wings. What are the two wings? Love and fear. Love and fear. When you have a Havas Hashem and Yiras Hashem, those are the two wings that make the tefillah be able to fly up to Hashem when you daven. Right? But if you don't put your intent into it, so then, people are davening, but the tefillah doesn't get always answered. Right? That's a word from the Kotzker. You ever heard of the Kotzker? We say in davening every morning, we say in the Kriya Shema, it works on this also. We say like this, we say, V'at Hashem, B'chol levavecha, u'b'chol nafshecha. Serve Hashem b'chol levavecha, u'b'chol nafshecha. Right? And then we say, Al levavecha. Right? Al levavecha. Place it on your heart. So says the Holy Kotzker. Wow, only the Kotzker can say something like this. Why do you place it on your heart? Take all the emotions, everything, place it on your heart. Place it on your heart. Put it on your heart. Why on your heart? He says you place it on your heart, and he says you go through life. You go through life. And he said Sometimes people go through life and they have a big simcha in their life. And that opens the heart. It cracks the heart open. It opens the heart, the simcha. They feel that great gratitude to Hashem, and it opens their heart. Then all of that stuff that they placed on the heart, now that they open the heart, it all goes in. It'll all go in. Place it on the heart, just keep stacking it up. Then when the heart opens up, it'll all go in. It'll all go in. Such a beautiful idea. And then he said sometimes a person doesn't get it with the simcha, so Hashem sometimes Chas v'Shalom has to send a tragedy. And he says sometimes people open their heart through joy. But sometimes people don't understand to open their heart through the joy. So then Hashem Chas v'Shalom has to send them something that's not so joyful. And that'll open their heart, so that'll get in. Hashem wants us to get all the tefillas, everything, emotions, and all of our feelings into our heart. Has to come in. All the mitzvahs that we do, place it in the heart. You understand? Unbelievable idea. Al levavecha, the holy Kotzker. Okay. What?
On the heart.
Al, on top. Place it on. Place it on the heart. You should have said bilvavecha. Place it in your heart. Right. But you can't always place it bilvavecha. You can't always get it in your heart because the heart's sometimes closed. So put it on your heart. Just keep stacking it up. And it'll get in there. Unbelievable. Okay, let's just finish up and we can finish the test now. Kol tikunei tefillah. And therefore, all the tefillah that was established, the 3 tefillahs of the day, the 3 prayers every single day that were established. Shacrus. Ki Shacrus hi bechinas nekudei la. Just to remind ourselves. Shacrus is connected to the tzaddik. Shacrus is connected to the Tefilin shel roish. That's the nekudei ilah. Shehu ikar, that's the main one. That's the main one. Ki sholish ha-nekudas klolis ba, because all 3 nekudas are in the roish. You have all 3. Why? Because you have in the roish, you have it's part of the tzaddik. So the tzaddik is connected, of course, very much to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He's connected to all Klal Yisrael. The tzaddik is roish, like we said, it's a rebbe is roish b'nei Yisrael. So of course he's roish b'nei Yisrael. He's connected to all of Nishmas Yisrael. And then, of course, that the tzaddik is always connected so much to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So you have within the Tefilin Shel Rosh, the tzaddik have all 3 aspects. All right? Ki Avram Tikkun Shachrus. Look at this beautiful. Avram Avinu was Misakin. Avram Avinu, Abraham he established the morning prayer. Ba'avramu ba'atzmai bechinas ara nekuda kedosha. Avram Avinu is this Nekuda, the Ara Nekuda Kedosha. Why? Because he's the first person that was Ma'amin in Hashem. He was the first person that believed in Hashem. Avram Avinu was the first person that perceived Hashem on his own. Right? Right? The Medrash says Avram Avinu grew up and he was serving the idols and doing everything like everybody else. He's doing everything like everybody else. Avram was doing everything like everybody else. He understood all of the Avodah Zarah. He knew everything because that's how he grew up. But then he thought to himself, hey, what's going on? What's going on? Could it be that this thing here is running things in the world? How could that be? I made this. He made this thing. How could, if I made it, he made it, and the world is before me and you and everyone else, so then how can it be that that's a God? So Avram Avinu was the first, he was the Mammon. So he was the first one to connect to that Chachma Ilah, the Nekuda Kedosha up on top. He connected to Hashem's light. She bechinas chesed. And that's Avram Avinu's chesed. He came a chesed. He understood, he found Hashem. He found HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's the greatest chesed. Hashem loved that the most, that someone found him in the world. Because again, we said Hashem made the world as a game of hide go seek. You know the way the kids love to play that game, hide go seek, right? When they find when you find the guy, you feel so good, right? The guy that gets found sometimes not so happy, right? But everyone else is so happy when they find him, right? But Hashem loves to be found. Hashem loves to play the game hide go seek in the world, and He wants us to find Him. That's why that game is so much fun, because that's the essence of life. That's the essence of our life. That's the mashal for the nimshal. The game is the mashal for the nimshal, finding Hashem. That's the greatest chesed. So Avram Avinu finds Hashem. He finds the Rabbeinu Shalom. That's a chesed. Okay, then that's Avram Avinu, and that's in the morning. That's why Avram Avinu is in the morning. It's bright. Chesed's bright. Everything's bright. In the Tefilin Shel Rosh. And it says by Avraham Avinu, Ata Koyin Li'olam, right? It says by HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells Avraham Avinu, Ata Koyin Li'olam. Avraham Avinu was made a Kohen by Hashem. How do you like that? Vata Kohen Li'olam. We're talking about the joke about the Kohen before, right? It's not a joke, but Hashem made him a Kohen. Ata Kohen Li'olam. K'maisha Kasu Sham. Right? Okay. And therefore the main tefillah of the day is the chesed, and that's why we wear our tefillin in the morning. Because that's the main tefillah of the day. We want to connect Hashem. We want to connect the whole day. So that's why we use the tefillin in the morning. Okay, and we have the longest of the tefillahs, right? The longest tefillah of the day is Shacrus, right? Shacrus is the longest part, it has the most parts to it, right? Yeah. Right? You have the Birchas HaShachar, then you have Psuki de Zimra, Birchas Kriya Shema, you have Shmona Esrei, right? And you have the Tachnun after davening, right? After the Shmona Esrei, and then you have the Ashrei Yavol Tziyam, which is the Yeridas HaShefa into the world. That's the bringing that bounty down into the world after your davening. So much is involved in Shacrus. Ki ikar nekuda meya b'shacrus, because the main nekuda is meya shines in the morning, when it's specifically the morning. Shu bechinas chesed la'avram. That's the chesed la'avram. That's the chesed in the morning. The chut shel chesed that we connect ourselves with. That string of chesed from HaKadosh Baruch Hu in the morning. Chesed. Chesed is the morning. Ki ha-nekuda or ha-chesed. Because the whole idea of this or nekuda, the nekuda ha-kedosha, the whole idea is the chesed. That's why it's connected to the morning. That's why we wear the tefillin in the morning. But remember, the tefillin in the morning is the rosh. And then we have on the tefillin shel rosh to remind us that you have mincha in there. That's the dalet. That's the emsah. And then we have mincha, which is the tefillin, and we have arvis is the tefillin shel yad. So you have the three. That's why you have Shadkai. Mincha Alvit. Yes, and that's why you have the Shin, the Dalet, and the Yud. Shadkai. You make the same Shadkai, which is also three letters, and that's to remind me. That's to remind me of each and every single day. Okay, and that's why Tefillah Shacrus is longer than all the other Tefillahs. That's why Mincha by Shacrus you have Kriya Shema. By Arvis, you have Kriya Shema, that's the Tefillin Shel Rosh, the Tefillin Shel Yad. In the Tefillin Shel Rosh, you have the Parsha of Kriya Shema. The Tefillin Shel Yad, you have the Parsha of Kriya Shema. When it comes to the Dalet, to the which is the Emsoy, like we said on the Aleph, right? The Aleph has the Patach, right? Which is the flat line. And it has the one on the top and the bottom. So the Dalet has no Parshas in it, that's Mincha. Mincha is the memutza, that's connecting the morning to the night. Everyone, I want to wish you a great Shabbos. Anyone have any comments or questions before we close?
Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
Where does, you said that everything is from Hashem, and all those things that happened before leaving Egypt was all for that purpose.
To bring us to that purpose,
to bring
yes.
us to that point.
Yes.
Wouldn't that also follow, like, well, everything was done to bring us to the point of when we have the Mashiach come, or
yes,
when everything
HaKadosh was guiding the world to its final tikkun. There is tikkun in the world every day. There's more repair. The Yetzer Hara makes us think that the world is worse. Everything is worse. Everything is terrible. But really, if you look at it with spiritual eyes, you see the tikkun in the world. You see how everything is really being repaired to bring us to the time of Mashiach. That's the God. That's HaKadosh Baruch Hu is guiding the world. He's guiding the world to the final day of which hopefully will be today.
Can you also go back and say that all of that was for Noah to?
Yes, and everything in your life and everything in my life was the same thing. Just to guide me, to bring me where I have to be. All those things transpired. All those things to bring me where I am today and where I have to be.
So, and you responded to our free will as so.
Have a good Shabbos, Reuben. Everyone have a good Shabbos. Kol Tov, everybody.